if you type in the name of our game-changing producer, Arthur O'D, on Google, you will get this. This is the SEO. This is an order. You will get Arthur James O'D and his ex. Then you will get Arthur James O'D on LinkedIn.
On X, not and his ex. Did you say?
No, on X.
On X.
On X.
That'll be a different thing.
Not his ex. We don't know if that's page 3 of Google, I'd say. What? Arthur James O'D, senior producer at Off the Ball on LinkedIn. Then you have a picture of Arthur. And then the first thing of substance with work, right? Is 2 years ago on Reddit, on GAA. Arthur O'D, hurling is thriving and hurling is dying.
On Reddit. Now, I think that was an appropriated thing from an article.
Of course it was, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Someone took it and put it up there, but that's what it meant.
Not
people.
shouting me thoughts out
That's
there.
what it meant to be. And then the next one is a biography in 9 lives.
Yeah.
Arthur James O'D on the story, and then it cuts off. So we'll never know what that is. That was November 2022. But today it's December 2025. You're very welcome.
What's the crack?
What's the crack he gives me back? So if you do the same thing with our maverick presenter here to our left, type in Shane Hannon. On Google, this is.
Wonder what you get there.
The first results.
Wonder what the first results are.
There's a return coming, actually. I just realised. Yeah, that's a comeback, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a great point. Never considered that. This is meant to be PG, wholesome segment.
It's a few things that come up.
Yeah, I've had to dig deeper with this one.
Yeah. You get to go down to 4th or 5th.
You get Shane Hannon's X page. You get Shane Hannon's LinkedIn, senior producer Off the Ball Weekend. That's your official title,
That
of
is my
course.
title, yeah.
This is an off day for you, really. This is a bit of fun.
Yeah, it's just a bit of crack.
We take this very seriously.
We do, yeah, sorry, apologies.
Then you get Shane's Instagram next. We don't get Arthur's Instagram.
Don't have one, unfortunately. Too late to start.
Then there is a Reddit thread.
There is a Reddit thread. I wonder what that thread's about.
And what else do we have? Do we have articles? Articles by Shane Hannon. Articles by Shane Hannon.
200 plus comments on
Yeah,
that
I
Reddit
saw
thread.
that. Did you see that, Jeff?
That's interesting.
And then there's another Shane Hannon who works in hospitality. And Arthur's dad works in hospitality, so synergy.
What a
Synergy.
link up. Yeah.
Only 2 people. All right, anyway, you're very welcome. Hope you're well.
Thank you very much, Colm, Arthur.
The Reddit thread.
We'll go through the Reddit thread, you know.
Bob Dylan, Sligo GAA, Man United. You have to drop one from your life.
Oh. At the moment, Sligo G. Where is this? When have I?
Where is it? It's not on Google.
Oh, sorry, you're just asking.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Why would I have to drop one?
You're forced to on a game
Oh,
show.
the men come.
Yeah.
Yeah, something's happened.
Something's happened. I have to drop one. So sorry, what were they again?
Your 3 loves, like.
Yeah.
Outside of your loved ones. Bob Dylan, Sligo.
Sligo generally. I'll have to drop
Man United.
I'll probably have to drop the last.
Recency bias, isn't it?
Man United.
No,
If they'd won last night, Bob Dylan would be gone.
I did see a video yesterday
fair
on social of Hibs fans being asked which would you prefer, Hearts to win the Scottish Premiership or England to win the World Cup.
Yeah.
They were very on the fence, but most of them chose England to win the World Cup will be more palatable.
That's good.
I think it's fair
Do you know Martin O'Neill finished with a nearly 86% win record?
It's almost a 10-ball league.
In his entire tenure, obviously, not just this little one.
Comments. Wait for the Reddit thread on that one.
Yeah.
Arthur O'D's comments on the Scottish Premiership.
Same theme, different examples here, Shane. Man United, Monaghan are your daughter.
It's a bit easier, isn't it?
Do you want to do space instead?
Space a good one. Take the daughter out. He was never getting rid of that.
Yeah, of course.
I'm glad you took that sincerely.
Yeah.
We are floating through space on a ball of rock right now, so it's tough to get rid of that one. Do you know?
No, from your life, like.
From my life.
No interest in it.
From my life.
You can't watch or consume any of one of these 3.
Let's go with space. Yeah. Let's go with space. Well, watch or consume. Do you know what I mean? Watch or consume. So, like, you can't watch any.
You couldn't talk about it, like.
You can talk about it, right?
Yeah,
now.
not in your life, yeah. Because, of course, obviously, Man United will continue with or without you.
Maybe Man United, yeah. You can't leave out your county, of course.
No.
You'd both drop Man United.
Well, as opposed to what? Like, you can't. The other ones are too. Like.
So if Monaghan win the All Ireland, I can't talk about it or partake or attend.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what if I said to you, so Oasis, Cork, or Man United?
Oh, good question.
It's not that original. I mean,
Great question, yeah. I know you've come up with that really fast.
That's a good
I'll have
question.
to get back to you on that one.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's very easy to leave United off these days, isn't it? After last night's.
He's the king of segues.
The comments I've been accused of already being, in one thing, delusional in my praise, Man United, which you could say.
You personally?
Me personally. And then also being accused of being glass half empty.
Well,
so, I mean.
you are a conundrum, to be fair to you.
What am I like? Yeah.
Well, what's the consensus here? So, to flesh this out a bit, right? United have drawn 3 of the last 5 games, and in all 3 games they were ahead.
Yeah.
So there's a strange quirk there. Anyway, afterwards, Ruben Amorim cut a very frustrated figure. I think we may have. Do we have that Ruben Amorim clip, Arthur?
We do have a clip.
Yeah,
there.
I'll show it to him in a second. I'll get it. I'll get if it's ready. But anyway, basically, the gist of it before we throw it to it is again very frustrated, which we've seen time and time again. But he was asked about Diogo Dalot and the goal, and he kind of shut it down. Anyway, I think the clip is good to go. So let's just play it instead.
He had a big opportunity with Cunha. We were near the box, but then the crosses were not good. The characteristics of the players sometimes inside the box are not enough to score a goal from that position. So that's it.
The big positive, though, for Manchester United, Diogo Dalot getting his goal when he did to score that opening goal. I can understand that it feels more frustrating at full time because you come away with a point. But for him to get his first Premier League goal at Old Trafford as well, in the style that he did it, it felt like a striker's finish, really.
Yeah, but it's a goal. We draw. That doesn't matter.
Diogo's at the club for 7.5 years. I finally scored at Old Trafford in the league. Manager don't care.
I don't know what he's supposed to say, though.
Yeah, but even Roy Keane mentioned in the studio afterwards, it was like he acknowledged the fact that Amorim didn't praise the goal. He was like, yeah, he had a chance to and he didn't.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny with Amorim because it's hard to be too critical of his post-match musings and all these defeats because he's massively honest about everything.
To a fault sometimes.
Well, he's as frustrated as I guess I'm sensing you two are. Do you know what I mean? And he's the manager.
Don't absolve yourself.
Huh?
Don't absolve
Well,
yourself.
I'm a bit removed today, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going left and right here. Like a good midfielder. Getting my lads into the game.
I did think his comments on Patrick Dorgu when Dorgu was coming off the bench last night. I was thinking of his anxiety comments during the week. Like to turn around and say every time Patrick touches the ball, I can feel his anxiety and I feel anxious. For a young player, international player, very strange comments I thought. But then again, look, Amorim knows, the dressing room knows what each player needs maybe to give them a kick up the backside. And when Amorim says in that clip that we didn't have the characteristics with balls going into the box and we just weren't there, like is he referring to the runs? Because we don't have United don't have that centre forward. Šeško's obviously injured. Mbeumo and Cunha are kind of those really good link up players generally speaking, but they don't have that.
What's Zirkzee for you?
Xerxes just not it either. Like,
nice.
And Xerxes has some nice touches. Obviously, the finish against Palace was really good.
There's a bit of a Memphis Depay.
There is.
There's talent there, but I don't know if it's going to work out.
No, if his United career ended now, you look back and at his record, and he scored a really important goal in the Europa League. I remember last season, it was over in San Sebastian, and he has moments, Xerxes, that show that he's a decent player, but he's not that in the box, waiting for an opportunity to present itself and get 10, 15 goals a season. He's not that player. So what kind of player is he? People talk about his hold-up play. His hold-up play against Everton was abysmal. Every time he touched the ball, even for little 1 metre, 2 metre passes, he seemed to give it away. I don't know, there was frustration. And you look at that United team, and Ahmad's about to head to the AFCON. Brian Mbeumo and Mazraoui are heading off as well. Obviously last night they were missing some key members of that defence, and Maguire and De Ligt and Martinez obviously came off the bench.
Hayden Heaven started ahead of Lenny Oro.
Yeah.
And they changed that at half time.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit strange. Aiden Heaven, I think United fans have a lot of time for Aiden Heaven. He's shown us some glimpses, but it's a back three that hadn't really, I don't think they'd ever played together, that starting back three. So yeah, it was a game that was a strange one for United.
It was a big Tanga League Cup off the defence, all right?
Yeah.
Not that they're in the competition anymore, but yeah.
But let's be honest, West Ham have been really poor. They were really poor against Liverpool last weekend at home. They've shown no real signs. Maybe a couple of signs early on in Nuno's reign where they maybe got a result, but there's just something. And look, they were missing Paqueta as well last night, probably their most dangerous player. So I think from United's perspective, when Dalot scores, you think they're going to push on, maybe get a second and just secure the 3 points. But it was all too familiar.
Yeah. There was
stuff.
There was some really annoying things happening, like from the United perspective. There was cross after cross, but the crosses were terrible.
Yeah,
and that's the one thing actually Amorim pointed out is the technicality of the crosses were severely lacking. Like, and he also said, as you say yourself there, pointed out from what he said, the characteristics of the players weren't right, which I'm guessing he means is a fancy way of saying positioning was all over the shop.
Yeah,
they weren't in the right place. The score and the crosses were coming in, which were poor anyway. But the other thing that was striking to me was when West Ham equalised, they were much better. And Mason Mount, so easily dispossessed. He's so laboured in the way he receives the ball.
Weak a bit.
But sometimes Mount is a bit of a symbol of the team because sometimes Mount's very tidy. He's a good player, and then sometimes he just has no presence.
Yeah,
like had no presence for a guy who should have a bit of presence. He's like England international, was once upon a time excellent at Chelsea. You know, just he kind of a bit lacking. And then Bruno Fernandes is poor when went to 1-1. He was losing the ball, but then Fernandes nearly scores with the scissor volley off the post in the first half, and then he has 2 chances at the end of the game. But like Magasa, who scored the goal, another chance to score, he hit the side netting. It's fairly even. And you were on about how poor West Ham were for a long time.
I wouldn't go and say it was even. I do think, like, on the balance of play, like
I have
that
all the
shot,
chances down here. United have shaded the chances.
but that chance, that wasn't the Magasa chance. Wasn't a real chance. The first one, like it went comfortably
but they were
wide.
creating
Like,
opportunities.
some, but like
They
I'm
were.
sure I haven't checked the XG on it, but like I'm sure Man United, the quality of chances Man United were creating
And possession,
were
so.
well above what West Ham were creating. Like it wasn't.
Not really,
it wasn't,
like, because if Mbumo nearly catches Areola in the first half, that's a cross that goes over.
That wasn't
Or
a cross.
Well,
That
he
wasn't
meant
shot,
it.
yeah,
but
but
I
it
mean,
was-
that's the same idea as Magassi's way. It was not a chance. He created the opportunity for himself. Then what are the other ones?
Xerxes has a chance, and then Bruno Fernandes.
That's
with the
that's
shot.
all one play. Is
Follow,
So the Zerski off the line by Wan-Bissaka,
Yeah.
and there's the bicycle kick by who was that?
Cunha.
Yeah.
Cunha, and then the Bruno scissor volley.
That
But
hits
then
the
after
post.
that, that shades the post, yeah. And so in terms of like shots that didn't go in, that was the closest shot that didn't go in all day. But
I know.
I don't know. I didn't think like there was the 2 half chances at the end, but there was another opportunity. Matthias Fernandes probably would have scored in the first half if it wasn't for Casemiro blocking it.
Yeah.
So that goes over. United arguably shit, but there wasn't much in it. Like, and my point here is that you yourself were mentioning how poor West Ham are, that they're muck. When we were talking about Liverpool's supposed resurgence, you were saying
I
Liverpool.
think they are. Yeah, no, I think they're extremely poor.
But then United was.
But Man United aren't very good.
Yeah, slightly at their level. That's what I'm going back.
They're
That's
not
my
at the
point.
level. It's not like it's
No, but
not
hold
at
on
the
now.
level.
Look, my point is they don't look that much different to West Ham. That's my point. That's what we're going
I
to with this.
I disagree with that. Like it's not like
Finish 1-1.
I know it finished 1-1, but I'm not saying that like it's Man United are a good team. But like West Ham, for instance, I think 2 weeks ago or whatever, ended up drawing 2-2 with Bournemouth. And in that game at Bournemouth, I think afterwards it looked Bournemouth had something like 28 shots, something obscene.
Yeah.
It was a complete kind of. Now that wasn't yesterday. I'm not saying it's that. I'm not saying it was like just a freak, but like I'm not at the same time. I don't think you'd say West Ham and Bournemouth are on the same level.
United will finish far further ahead of West Ham in
Like, it's
the
not-
table this season, you would imagine.
It's a terrible result for Man United.
You'd imagine it's. I couldn't see an awful lot of difference between them last night. United were probably like just about better, but if you didn't know anything about either of the teams, you'd be like, yeah, they're probably similar enough.
Well,
There's
I
not
think the
much to
XG,
United,
I don't
like.
know if it's correct there, and I know it's not everything. It was 1.8 to 0.8. So, on the balance of play, it should have been a win, but it's not.
I know it should have
It's
been.
a
They should
really
have-
bad result for Man United.
Yeah, it's a bad result. They probably should have. United probably should have won the game 2-1. Probably in the grand scheme of things, that should have been the result by all the XG and all the quality of chances created. But I still thought at the end of the game, I was like, 1-1. I was like, that's not a robbery by any means. 1-1 is grand.
Yeah, United fans are probably thinking later on in the game that West Ham could nick a winner here. And it wouldn't have surprised anyone really. But it was one of those weird games where
When West Ham equalised, they actually got into it for a few
There are
minutes.
like Wan-Bissaka should have been sent off.
Yeah,
I mean, there's different things like that, and like, but I just they were extremely poor. But it doesn't. I don't know what the. I don't know whose fault it's at. You look at some of the players, and it's like I just can't imagine that what Luke Shaw's doing is what Ruben Amorim wants him to be doing.
yeah.
You just watch the way, like even the same was really bad against Everton. And you're like, what is it's everything is so slow and laboured, and
Yeah.
it's kind of
Build up is so predictable.
It's so predictable
Yeah.
every time, and that's kind of across the board. It's really odd now. You're a little bit a year over, and geez, like you'd be hard pressed. Like I said, I like him. I'd love it would work, but it's you'd be hard pressed to say at this point there's been a whole lot of progress.
Yeah, and yet it's funny how fickle football is, because it's after to bounce back from the Everton and the horrendous performance against Everton with a win at Palace, which is tough done.
Yeah.
And then say they nicked a win last night, they didn't, but say they did, then you have Wolves away, at Wolves team that just cannot pick up points, and then all of a sudden you have a few wins in a row heading into the festive period. Like there are small margins there for Ruben Amorim, and Roy Keane kind of touched on it after. They're almost frightened to go into the top 4 or 5.
Yeah, they would
because they've had
have gone
chances to do
fifth.
it.
Like, yeah, they don't believe in themselves really.
No.
when it comes to it. Another comment here. So are you done?
No, I was just going to say like the only positive, like Sene Lamans, United fans haven't talked about the goalkeeper position since Onana went on loan, which is great. Casemiro has been brilliant. Like he probably won't be there next season because his wages are astronomical, but And De Ligt has been brilliant. He was a miss last night. Martinez coming back in. There are positives for this United team, but still so many frailties, and it's almost like it's mental frailties with some of the players that they don't. I don't know if they don't believe in themselves. Ahmad is one of the only you feel like he's one of the only threats. Mbeumo has been brilliant this season, but the last game or two he struggled to get into it himself. Even Cunha will take another 90 minutes maybe to get back into it after the head injury. So look, United fans I think are enjoying watching the team more this season than last, or maybe even in the last 5 or 6 years. But that's not hard.
They're a very difficult watch.
Do you know what's funny? What I was thinking though. Remember we were talking yesterday. We were talking about the 100 goals earlier in the week, and the type of goals player scores. So what's an ex-player goal? The one thing that I'd say that's extremely worrying from the Man United point of view is like they have absolutely no patterns.
What's the United goal?
So if you take like last night, great goal, but it was luck in terms of it deflects into his path. He's there, he takes advantage of it, but it's not a pattern. The goal at the weekend again, well worked set piece. To be fair, that is something that's planned. But then the Xerxes one's kind of a freak. You're not planning for that. It's a great goal, but but that's an issue. That there's no patterns. And Jesus Christ, it's like I don't know how many more times I can watch when like a team is sitting back and they're slowly making their way up and they have no idea what they're going to do with it.
No.
It's kind of going over and back between going to Ahmad turns, comes back, plays it back into whoever's. Oh, it's awful.
And it's been years of Bruno exasperated.
Yeah.
It's the whole time, like.
And as you said, there's only so many times you can go ahead in a game and then let the team back in.
Well, there's something up there. But the thing about them being weird is like they beat Liverpool and they beat Chelsea. And there was reasons. Liverpool were in proper crisis, I guess, at the time. Chelsea went down to 10 men early, but so did United, and they won the game. And then they beat Palace, who haven't lost at home since February.
Yeah.
And then they're that poor last night against West Ham, and they're poor against Everton with an extra man. They're just like, that's I sense that Amram was like, I can't work these lads out at all. I can't work them out.
But the results are about the results you'd expect from a team who are going to finish, say, 8th. And I think after finishing 15th last season, United fans would expect maybe around 8th.
That's my point about last night, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure people will be on your side there about like United should have won the game and all that. And they should have. But I thought 1-1 was like, that's about right. Like, in terms of the quality of the game, it was like, I don't think they deserve to win, United. I don't think.
No, again, and the performance-wise, but I'm saying like
I know that they should be beating West Ham. I'll grant you that.
I do, and the balance of play. Like I think that if you looked at it, you go like, if one team, it's a strange one. It's because like for all I understand. Like look, I don't know. The result is the result.
Another thing annoyed me about last night. This is sort of separate about football in general. Did you see Thomas Souček at the very end of the first half got clipped?
Yeah.
When he stayed on his feet in the penalty area.
Yeah.
And this is what you and I talked with John Mass about. Do you remember that?
Was that me?
Or maybe it was you. Was Keith? We had him on twice.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I was saying to John Mass that day, I was like, the problem is if players don't go down, you don't give decisions.
Yeah.
And I thought he'd defend that comment. And he said, you don't want to be the ref to give a decision when a player stays on his feet. Do you remember this in the first half? Right at the end of the half, he gets clipped like Souček. Yeah. There's a little bit of contact and he stays up because he probably feels it's not enough to go down. And it's play on. If he goes down, it probably goes to VAR.
Classy gesture.
And it may have been a decision for them. That's what annoys me about football, because players are accused of diving all the time, and that's annoying. But like, it feels like they have to go down if they want to get the decision, because the ref's not going to give it otherwise.
There was a moment against Palace last weekend where Dalot goes down having beat the player. It looked like he was in behind.
That was weird, wasn't it?
It's like sometimes it's vice versa. But
yeah. There was a similar to the Sunderland one as well, the last chance at the end.
Yeah.
And Chiesa kind of comes behind him first before he goes round Alisson.
Yeah.
Who it was, but he could have went down as well.
Yeah.
We have plenty of comments coming in here, so it's quite ranging from the strong to the complimentary. Shane McGeaney says Amram is a fraud. The players are very average. I kind of agree with the latter.
Those two things don't like. If the players are very average, Amram,
how are you a fraud if they're already bad? I kind of agree with the latter point, and definitely not the first point. Xerxes is a Bologna level player, says Cahir O'Leary. He's been on fire with comments this week. Have to be said, he's all over the shop in a good way. What's happening with Kobbie Mainoo? Good question.
Not a clue. And look, like last night's opposition were one of the teams that have been kind of tentatively linked with Kobbie Mainoo. I don't know where he ends up. West Ham could end up in the Championship next season, so maybe that's not going to be an option. But does Kobbie Mainoo, like, is the World Cup dream gone for him at this stage? Probably. So maybe he just digs in and tries to win back his place.
Noel Cahill is saying United, Liverpool and Spurs will all be looking for new managers soon.
Possibly.
Race to Iraola.
Yeah.
P. Wells says West Ham are terrible, Liverpool beat them. But then I presume in response to that, Noel Cahill says West Ham in fairness were a lot better last night.
I don't even know if they were. Like, West Ham didn't have to be that great last night to get a draw.
It's a bit like Everton.
Yeah.
The previous, like,
Yeah.
it's not like Everton weren't. They were very organised.
Yeah.
They weren't. It was just Man United were extremely poor, but it's kind of becoming standard.
Would you back United to go like to the Emirates this season and get a win? And then would you be surprised if Wolves on 2 points beat United?
No, not at all. That's
Don't
the
think,
thing.
yeah.
I mean,
Maybe before this season, I would have said the first for Arsenal, not now. Arsenal bully that team.
Yeah, at the
you would
minute.
imagine
Yeah.
so, but then it's just I don't know, man. It's weird.
It's a weird season. It's a strange
I've
season.
been having that team all week. We've been chatting with guests about it.
Yeah.
It is weird. Like
It was a.
it is mental.
Yeah.
There's no rhythm to it outside of Arsenal.
Yeah. It was Jonathan Wilson.
Arsenal are the adults in the
I
room.
was looking at it last night, like almost. I think the only difference, really, in terms of the top 4 points wise, is that Liverpool were 2 points further ahead than Arsenal were last season.
I think it's the way that the games are going.
Yeah.
I think people are like, if you win 3 and then lose 1, it's like okay, but then it's you beat a team, then you lose to a team that you should be beaten, based on the team you just beat.
Yeah. There's no logic to it. Like Jonathan Wilson was saying during the week, I heard him talking about the fact that nobody's surprised that Sunderland get a newly promoted Sunderland get a draw at Anfield. That's how weird this season is. Leeds have 2 up front and get a win against Chelsea during the week out of absolutely nowhere. Like, just some of the results don't really make sense. And that's going to continue, I think, for the rest of the season. It's going to be a bizarre.
Yeah, it was Everton beating United at Old Trafford with 10 men, then Everton got hammered by Newcastle at home. Newcastle are terrible away. Palace, as I say, haven't lost at Selhurst Park since February, and they lose to this United side.
Yeah. But even Liverpool started with like a house on fire and then just capitulate.
But it was in the wash, wasn't it? Liverpool.
It
was coming.
Because people say, it takes a bit of time for players to
No, but it's the way they were winning games at the start of the season was.
Then Villa were so poor at the start of the season. Now they're unbelievable. So
it's mad. Yeah, it's crazy. Loads of comments here. James says no midfield, simple as Bruno needs to go. Casemiro needs to get a bouncer's job to offload his aggression. David Holton says there's literally no urgency about United. It felt like a friendly. That is probably the most common thread, in the last few years, is that, Jesus, would they ever wake up? Let's shake these lads. Like, there is a real pondering nature to their play.
And they were there the second half at Selhurst Park last weekend. They had that intensity and came from behind.
The annoying thing about them is when they're written off entirely, they might give you a performance.
Yeah.
But everyone has to turn against them for that to happen. Then it's like, you're not bad. Like, you have a chance to go to 5th tonight. They don't want it.
Yeah.
Just don't want it enough.
Yeah. I don't agree with James that Bruno needs to go, by the way. Like Bruno might have off performances and annoys fans.
Yeah.
And opposition fans alike, but he certainly has been the most consistent United player over the last number of years.
Luke's not having our chats at all here, but he's saying the problem is Amram. I like him, but his tactics are basic and require good players to play within themselves, says Luke, who's very confident of his own opinion there. Bobby Dwyer says it's the Premier League is becoming like the Championship.
Yeah.
Other than the couple at the top, it's always bunched like crazy and anyone can finish anywhere.
It's kind of a compliment. It's enjoyable. Like, Sarah, if you were a neutral, you'd be thoroughly enjoying the season because any result can happen. When you think back to some brilliant games, even the Sunderland draw with Arsenal, the Fulham City game during the week, even Brighton Villa during this week. Like,
that's right.
Brilliant games.
That is right. So that is your lot with United and West Ham. So we'll get to that more with Mark Ritchie. There's loads of comments coming in. What can he say? United wasted a chance. There's an exasperated Bruno Fernandes in the back of the Irish Independent. The Saudis are ready to find a new home for Mo Salah, possibly as early as January. The Egypt international has been subject of a rejected £150 million bid from Al Ittihad in September 2 years ago. But it's still open to a possibility of that happening, especially now he's left out the last 2 games. Will he be reinstated this weekend? Possibly. The GAA ponders 11 asides to keep rural clubs alive. Big issue this weekend, or this week, Shane, about the demographics in the GAA. Rural clubs are in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a huge problem. And even anecdotally, from talking to people in my own county in Monaghan, like, it is becoming a massive issue. But then it's rural towns as well. Like, in my own county, the 3 biggest towns, Carrickmacross, Castleblaney and Monaghan Town, all of those local clubs were intermediate clubs.
Yeah.
This year they should be senior, traditionally speaking, particularly Castleblaney, but they're just losing out on a lot of people who are, emigrating or whatever else. And even at underage sometimes underage have the opposite problem, that there's in the towns a lot of players, not enough facilities, and I know facilities is probably linked to this conversation as well. But it's I think someone said existential crisis is the quote a lot of people have been saying during the week.
Yeah, there's a new report out with the GAA launch as well, along with this in Croke Park yesterday. The highlight being, or the summary of the stark situation, is that Jarlath Burns, GAA president, said, if we lose clubs, we lose communities. And that is the genuine, tangible fear in the GAA at the moment.
Michael on the YouTube says rural Ireland is in trouble, but you only need to walk down some main streets in rural Irish villages and towns to just see the buildings left vacant. I know they've brought in this vacant properties thing where people are charged for the amount of time that buildings are left, and it's maybe improving things a little bit. But my dad's from Dunmore in North County Galway, and I remember being there last year, and the amount of little former pubs and former shops that are now just windows and broken windows, and it just looks horrendous. But I guess if people are leaving these villages and there aren't enough people to warrant these businesses, then you can kind of understand it. But that feeds into the problem the GAA are seeing as well.
The report is called "No One Shouted Stop Until Now." All right, so that headline there, Dermot Crow's piece, GAA ponders 11 aside to keep rural clubs alive. A motion seeking to allow teams to field fewer than 15 players for championship games is going to GAA Congress next year after the report on the demographics. So the chairman of the National Demographic Committee, who produced the report, Benny Hurl, said, the rule in the book right now says the adults championship must be played 15 aside. What we're proposing, very simply, is to go down to 11 aside. That will allow county committees, I should say, to organise competitions at 11 aside, and that will help the smallest, weakest, most vulnerable clubs. Would you scoff at the notion, or has it got that bad?
It makes sense, but the problem with the GAA is that they're so wedded to the past and history and not changing things that would they do it? Like, obviously that makes sense to go to 11 aside, particularly for rural clubs, but GAA aren't prone to change too quickly. And some sensible decisions take an eon to get over the line with the GAA sometimes. So I have no faith that would happen, but I agree that 11 aside makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
Not happening this weekend, so more Premier League, the start of the Champions Cup, like we touched on at the start of the show there, and the Formula 1 is heating up nicely, Shane. Just touching this briefly there in Abu Dhabi. It's all on the line this weekend. We're going to find out. Lando Norris, he has admitted he has the most to lose as he prepares to fulfill a lifelong dream in Formula 1's three-way World Championship shootout. So right now Norris heads into the finale with a 12-point lead over Max Verstappen, with McLaren teammate Oscar Piastri 4 points further back. It means Norris has to finish at least third in Sunday's 58-lap race. There was kind of nothing happening in Formula 1 for a long, long time. People were going to lose an interest after the adrenaline of Drive to Survive had worn off. It's getting interesting again the last weekend.
Yeah, it felt like it was petering out a little bit earlier in the season, the Formula 1, and Max Verstappen was kind of talking this week about after the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort. Even his parents sort of thought, well, the championship's probably over. His parents aren't even going to the race this weekend, which is a funny one. Strange one. I was formerly someone who was very keenly interested in watching Formula 1. It changed massively for me this season. Like it went to zero essentially. Live, haven't watched a single minute of a single race. Now, partly because I work on a Saturday and a Sunday, so we can't watch it live anyway. Obviously, I have a child at home as well, so it's tough to get the highlights back compared to in the past where I could laze up on a Monday or a Tuesday and watch them.
I'm having you.
So I found it tough to get into it. It's great for Formula 1 that it's come down to the final day. It'd be great to have a good race, but I'd be interested to get people's thoughts on this as well. People who maybe were Formula 1 fans who've kind of fallen out of love with it. That's certainly where I'm standing on it at the moment. Maybe I'll get back into it. Maybe I will, but I found this season has just passed me by completely.
The one man who kept going throughout the whole doldrum era was Pat Kenny. Yeah. All year round. Loves chatting about Formula 1, and he certainly will today. And Daniel Whiffen has retained the title for the first time. The 1500 metres at the European Short Course Championships in Poland. I'm so happy. I went through so many emotions in that race. Like at the start, I was feeling really rough. I was like, I hope I can stay in this pace. I got to 800 and I thought I was done, but I wasn't. What a win. And boys are mad into the snooker. You were chatting there beforehand, before we move on.
I have to talk snooker, obviously. UK Championship, yeah, it's probably one of the better tournaments every year. I even like the format, first to 6 frames for the early rounds, and it's quick. You get through it fairly easily. York, the Barbican in York is a great venue as well. Ronnie O'Sullivan obviously knocked out in the first round Happy birthday to him today, by the way. Turns 50.
Maverick.
Certainly a maverick. And you mentioned Daniel Whiffen. That's another maverick. But like snooker
What is
needs,
a maverick?
See, I had this conversation with mates recently, and one of them said, "Well, Roy Keane's clearly a maverick," and I said, "No, Roy Keane's a hard man. He's not a maverick." So like Eric Cantona is a maverick.
Also a hard man, though.
Also a hard man. Some people do. There is the Venn diagram there potentially, but Eric Cantona, that has the glint in the eye. With the kicking the fan at Sellers Park. He's someone who would be capable of that. In snooker, Ronnie O'Sullivan and Jimmy
You don't
White.
think Roy Keane could kick a fan?
He could, but more out of pure raw. He's always angry kind of thing. Whereas Cantona is more just the flair. I'm trying to think in other sports who would and would not be a maverick. Like in a GAA sense, GAA has had many hard men. But who would be a GAA maverick?
Like Kieran McDonald, and Kobe.
Kieran McDonald is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Kieran's not a hard man, but he's certainly a maverick. You'd love to know more about him, I think, away from their sport. Like Ronnie Sullivan is fascinating away from snooker. Jimmy White, read his autobiography, like insane stories.
Adel Tarat here, just to go back to football, so I can Bobby Dwyer straight into it.
Maverick.
But what? Yeah. Because it's interesting, right? Because I'm interested in tying this in just edging this one out, right?
Yeah.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan, maverick, but
Certainly.
also extremely high achiever, right?
Talented, yeah.
Really talented, delivered on it. Maybe he didn't deliver as much as you want, whatever. He's still like going to have all the records, whatever. And you take someone like Adel Tarat,
Underachieved.
almost certainly, or misrepresented in terms of what he could deliver. So but a maverick, I always assume a maverick, there's always a little bit of regret there.
Yeah.
Where it's like not delivering. Even the perfect thing with Kieran McDonald, like that's no doing of his own.
Didn't win the All-Ireland.
No All-Ireland,
Cantona retired young-ish.
Never won Europe. There's all
Yeah.
things. Never fulfilled an international. So is there not a thing of with the maverick? And I'm kind of in agreement with your point with the Tarat. Is there not have to be a degree of regret in there?
Yeah, it wasn't my point, to be fair, it was Bobby Dwyer's, but I think so. But at the same time, I would have said Ronaldinho was a maverick and he won Ballon d'Or.
But so then what's a maverick, Larry? Are we just talking about a skillful player?
I don't personally think it matters about how much you achieved or how much you didn't. I think it's the way you go about it.
But you have to be at a level.
You have to
achieve a level.
to have. Well, yeah, because you'll have Maverick walking up and down the street, you'll never know about them. So obviously, yeah, you have to get to a certain level, which means a degree of professionalism.
Quick, yeah.
And you have to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Adel Tarat would have had to have loads of dedication if you think about it.
Yeah.
To have made that, you would have had to. Like Nick Kyrgios would have had to have had loads of dedication.
See, I was going to ask you tennis. Kyrgios is definitely a maverick, but he hasn't
Is he a
achieved.
maverick?
But Maverick
is just a gobshite.
Maverick, I couldn't be bothered. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
a thing. There's a fine line. There's a fine line, but like I think your point is extremely valid about they all would have had to have been dedicated to make it in some way. All of these people that we're mentioning, all of them,
Yeah.
they would have had to have done something above the average to have made it professionally. But in my way is the intangibles of it. It's just the feeling you get from someone of how they go about their business. Because Cantona was a team player.
Yeah.
And he would abide by everything that the team wanted him to do.
Trained
and all
very
that.
efficiently.
Was a brilliant trainer, very professional. But I would absolutely say all day long Cantona was a maverick. Because he was an individual as long as going in with the team. Like.
Dictionary definition, by the way, of maverick is an unorthodox or independent-minded person. Also an unbranded calf or yearling in North America, but we'll leave that one. But an unorthodox or independent-minded. Like, would you like to know more about Nick Kyrgios away from the court, or spend some time with him, like observe him? I would.
Would you not be far more interested in someone like Federer? Like, is not his excellence in what he's doing more interesting in terms of what he's doing?
But then I'd love to spend time with Messi as opposed to
Federer was
a maverick footballer.
Federer was a beautiful player, which is a different category again.
Yeah,
not a maverick.
Yeah,
because
he's not a maverick.
I don't think so.
Why
I think
not? What's the difference there?
I think Federer, it was mainstream beauty.
Yeah,
I think I get the impression from Federer that he's a very down-to-earth, normal person. There's nothing unusual about Federer.
Yeah,
other than his
isn't that how
tennis
Kyrgios
ability.
sells himself?
Kyrgios sells himself as being this unusual.
But is he not? Does he not sound
unusual in a sense? He doesn't.
But not an unusual person.
And he doesn't approach tennis the same way as everyone else. Like he would describe himself as like a part-time tennis player.
Yeah.
Like he plays tennis as a hobby, which is his flex of being like, I reached the Wimbledon final. I don't even take the sport seriously.
The way I would define it is, if you made a documentary about Federer and Kyrgios, which will be the most watched, Federer But which do you want to watch more? I would rather watch Kyrgios. Well, you may be better for you, but like for me,
it goes across sports. Yeah, maybe you're right. It goes across sport. Ross there in our live docs says Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football.
Yeah, he's a maverick.
There's a great Netflix documentary about him.
He's maverick.
And there was
where do we draw the line then between maverick and gobshite?
Well, it's a very good point.
Because I'm interested in that.
I think gobshite is a person who probably does harm to others.
Well, without getting too into the nuts and bolts.
No, I'm not talking about legalities. I'm just talking about a person with like toxic traits would be whereas I think you could be a maverick and still be a kind person.
Yeah, a lot of mavericks have had like issues with themselves. A lot of mavericks have had addiction issues. Like Jimmy White, Ronnie O'Sullivan have had issues in the past. You know, they are complicated individuals. I think that feeds into it as well.
Oh, well, I more so kind of mean in terms of like say even if we take away any potential horrible stuff, but like the gobshite just in terms of like almost in a performative sense. Yeah. So I think Kyrgios incredibly performative. I think it's a little, maybe there's a psychological in there, kind of afraid to kind of embrace the full possibilities of what he could do or something, or what he could have done. So it's almost maybe a defense mechanism. It's a very pop psychology type thing, but I always got that thing. It was like, as opposed to say someone like Murray, who kind of probably, I would consider him more of a maverick.
Oh, really? I wouldn't at all, but that's
because his thing. But he has the kind of also the gumption to kind of go and keep going after it. Yeah. Whereas someone else kind of, I'm backing away. I can't do this.
But then it's like, I'm in danger then of saying that like everyone I like is a maverick, which isn't true.
I think that's true.
Like, you know,
that's definitely.
But
true.
who's the most mainstream? Like, not everyone can be a maverick that you also like.
I think you just like mavericks.
Dennis Irwin is not a maverick, right?
No, he's not a maverick.
Not a maverick, but I love Dennis Irwin.
Yeah.
Why is he not a maverick?
Yeah.
Why is he? Because he's doing outrageous things for a fullback. That's maverickish.
It's like, think of Scotty Scheffler and think of the opposite of him, and that's a maverick. So like someone has suggested, there's loads of really good ones actually.
We're joined now by Scotty Scheffler. Loads.
Dennis Rodman's a great shout, by the way, by Ragamo.
But he's a gobshite.
He is a gobshite, but he's definitely he's a fascinating character.
Yeah, but his personality is so strong that it actually overtook his quality with the Bulls. He was vital to that team.
Yeah.
Vital. Freddie Michalak says all in the game. Rugby maverick. Yeah. He's also gorgeous.
I was struggling with rugby mavericks. I was struggling. I know they are.
If you're gorgeous, it helps.
True.
Freddie Michalak is in that category. Juan Roman Riquelme, JJ Okocha, Mavericks here.
What? But is it just skill? Is that what it is?
It's just niche footballers you see.
Yeah.
Maradona was a maverick, possibly.
Yeah, but Maradona is more of a maverick than Messi. You know, both extremely talented individuals, but Maradona's not a maverick.
Do you know what I'll do? There's so many names here. I'll just quickly throw them to you, and you say yes or no. All right. Bubbles O'Dwyer says P. Well.
I don't know what the definition is anymore. Like, if you're saying
you've lost it, have you?
Does that great Limerick team have a maverick in its ranks?
You'd say Keane Lynch is a maverick. I mean, he's relatively.
I'd love to know more about Keane Lynch. Yeah, perfect example.
Sevi.
Sevi. Yeah.
From what you've heard.
Yeah, from what
we've heard.
Yeah.
By artist logic, he reckons Wirtz could be a maverick at Liverpool.
Definitely not. I don't know if a German could be a maverick.
Yeah. I don't know if it's within.
Wow, generalisation there.
No, tell me.
Wow.
Correct me.
Wow.
Fair point. Trying to think of one. Yeah.
Fabian Hertzler.
He's not maverick.
He wants to be a male model.
He's not a maverick.
And then he's a manager. He's really young. Maverickish. Doesn't fall in line.
We have Mark Rishley waiting here.
I know.
Jeremy Connolly says, Michael. Jeremy Connolly, perfect example. Maverick.
Can we go straight to Mark Ritchley?
No,